Welcome to Cosmic Frontier. In the vast silence of space, a lonely spacecraft, launched before smartphones, before the internet, even before some of our viewers were born, has spoken again. Against all odds, after more than 4 decades, Voyager 1 has reconnected with Earth using a transmitter that had not been active since 1981. This is not just a technological feat. It's a story of resilience, engineering brilliance, and human determination to stay in touch with a tiny machine more than 15 billion miles away, drifting through the unknown. In 1977, NASA launched 2 spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, with a mission that was only supposed to last 5 years. But these spacecraft defied expectations, going far beyond their initial goals of studying Jupiter and Saturn. Voyager 1, in particular, has been journeying for nearly half a century, and it has now become the most distant human-made object in existence. It's out there in interstellar space where sunlight is weak and cosmic radiation is intense, and yet, it's still alive, still communicating, still teaching us about the edge of the solar system and beyond. But in October 2024, that communication was suddenly interrupted. A routine command was sent from Earth to activate one of the heaters on board. It was a basic procedure, intended to keep onboard instruments at stable temperatures. However, something unexpected happened. The spacecraft's internal systems misread the command. And in response, its built-in fault protection system, designed to protect against damage, shut down the X-band transmitter, Voyager's primary method of sending signals back to Earth. Just like that, the most critical link between Earth and the spacecraft was severed. For a spacecraft floating in the endless dark, nearly 15 billion miles from home, this could have been the end. Imagine sending a message across that distance and getting nothing in return. Not even a beep. No confirmation. No data. Just silence. It wasn't just a communication breakdown, it was a moment of crisis for everyone involved with the Voyager mission. Because at that unimaginable distance, nothing happens quickly. Every command sent from Earth takes nearly 23 hours to reach the spacecraft, and any response takes another 23 hours to return. That's almost 2 full days for a single back-and-forth exchange. In this kind of environment, there's no room for error, and certainly no room for panic. NASA's engineers faced a tough decision. They had to figure out how to regain contact without triggering more system shutdowns. Then someone had an idea. What if they tried using Voyager's old backup system, the S-band transmitter? It hadn't been used in over 40 years. In fact, many of the people working on the Voyager team today had never even tested it. It was considered a relic, an insurance policy from a different era. But in a moment of desperation, that relic suddenly became Voyager's last hope. Activating the S-band system wasn't easy. Because its signal is much weaker than the X-band, NASA's Deep Space Network had to reconfigure its enormous global antennas to detect the tiny signal. That meant making delicate adjustments to high-precision radio dishes in California, Spain, and Australia, equipment spread across the world, now trying to hear a faint whisper from the edge of the solar system. Every setting, every calculation had to be perfect. A single mistake could make the signal too faint to detect, or could trigger further problems on the spacecraft itself. Days passed. Engineers worked around the clock, carefully sending signals, recalibrating receivers, and waiting. Each attempt required nearly 2 days of patience. They didn't know if the backup transmitter still worked. They didn't even know if Voyager 1 was still functioning. It was a high-stakes guessing game, with the fate of a 47-year-old spacecraft hanging in the balance. Then, on October 24, 2024, they heard it. A weak but unmistakable signal came through. The S-band system, dormant since 1981, had come back to life. Voyager 1 had answered. The spacecraft was still there. Still running. Still listening. And just like that, a connection that spanned time, space, and generations had been re-established. But to truly appreciate the miracle of this moment, we need to look back at what Voyager 1 has achieved across the decades. When it was launched in 1977, its mission was clear: explore the gas giants. And it did. In 1979, Voyager 1 reached Jupiter and delivered the first close-up images of the planet's turbulent atmosphere, revealing swirling storms, complex cloud formations, and its faint ring system. More importantly, it discovered volcanic activity on Io, one of Jupiter's moons, marking the first time active volcanoes had been observed anywhere other than Earth. This was a paradigm shift. Moons, once thought to be cold and dead, were now recognized as potentially dynamic worlds. Voyager then moved on to Saturn. In 1980, it flew by the ring giant and sent back images that remain iconic to this day. It revealed new details about Saturn's rings, uncovered previously unknown moons, and discovered the G-ring, a faint ring that helped scientists understand the planet's complex gravitational interactions. It even flew close enough to capture stunning details of Saturn's atmosphere and magnetic field. By 1981, Voyager 1 had completed its planned mission. But rather than shutting it down, NASA chose to keep it running. The spacecraft was still healthy and it had momentum. It was heading out of the solar system, into deep space, into the unknown. For the next 3 decades, Voyager 1 drifted farther and farther away. In 2012, it did something no other spacecraft had ever done. It crossed the heliopause, the boundary where the solar wind from our sun no longer dominates space. Beyond this point lies the interstellar medium, the cold, dense space between stars. Voyager 1 officially became the first human-made object to enter interstellar space. And it kept transmitting data. Year after year, it continued to beam back information about cosmic rays, magnetic fields, and particle densities. These measurements have become foundational in our understanding of what lies beyond the solar system. But what's even more impressive is how Voyager has survived. Space is a brutal environment. Temperatures can swing from extremes. Radiation is constant. And Voyager has been exposed to all of it, without repairs, without maintenance, without help. Systems are old. It runs on an 8-track memory system. It uses a tape recorder. It communicates using power equivalent to a fridge light bulb. And yet it continues. Because it was built with care. With redundancy. With backups that engineers hoped they'd never need, like the S-band transmitter that just saved the mission. There's a lesson here not just for spacecraft but for humanity. Voyager 1 shows us the value of resilience, of thinking ahead, of believing that the impossible might one day become necessary. Engineers in the 1970s included that backup transmitter just in case, and 43 years later, it proved its worth. The people who designed Voyager may never have imagined it would still be running in 2025. But their vision, their ambition, made that possible. And this isn't just about science. Voyager 1 also carries with it a message, the golden record. A gold-plated phonograph disc containing sounds, music, and greetings from Earth. It includes the laughter of children, the sound of waves crashing, music from Bach and Chuck Berry, and greetings in over 50 languages. It's humanity's message to the cosmos. A time capsule drifting endlessly in case someone someday finds it. Voyager 1 is not just a spacecraft. It's a symbol. A piece of our collective story. A monument to what humans can achieve when we dare to reach beyond what we know. And the fact that, nearly half a century later, it's still out there, still alive, still responding, that's a miracle in itself. The recent communication breakthrough is more than just a technical fix. It's a reminder that exploration never truly ends. That even in the darkest, most silent corners of space, a voice can still echo back. It reminds us that distance is no barrier when determination, innovation, and patience come together. Voyager 1's story isn't just about where it's been, it's about how far we're willing to go to stay connected with something we created, something we sent into the unknown. And as long as Voyager 1 continues its journey, powered by a fading battery and a spirit of discovery, we'll keep listening. Because every signal it sends back is not just data. It's a whisper from the stars. A reminder of our place in the universe. And a promise that our curiosity will always find a way.